Jai Gurudev, Jai Masters. The most important thing in life is not what you get, what you have, what you don't get, or what you lose. It's where you're aiming. Your life is like an arrow. If you aim it somewheres, the chance that it will get there is 700 billion times higher than if you don't aim it. So the question becomes, what do you aim it toward? Everyone's aiming it at something. Very deep. You're going to end up somewheres in the proximity of where you aim. Doesn't mean you get a bullseye. But you're going to end up somewheres in the proximity of where you aim. A boat is going to end up somewheres near where it's sailing toward. You got it? It may not hit it just right. And that's true of everything. So the question is, what are you aiming your life toward? People have a problem. They don't look at their life as a life. You have this time between your birth and your death. If you want to piddle around with just little moments here and there and make every decision based on what you want or what you don't want in the moment, you're not going to end up anywhere. Nothing wrong with it. Just you don't end up anywhere. It's like if you're driving your car and you don't know where you're going, you just kind of like take whatever road looks the best at the moment and stay away from the one that doesn't look so good. I hope you're having a good time because you're not going to get anywhere. You got it? So the question becomes, where are you aiming? I'm going to cut through all the talk. It comes down to one of two things that's going to determine your aiming. Inside where you live, it is not okay. That's just the truth. Sometimes it's better than others. It's not okay. You're going to attempt to fix that. You and every other living creature. Do you understand that? All right? Every single animal, every single plant, every single thing is trying to strive toward feeling better, doing better. Plants try to find space to grow to the sun. They try to put their roots out so they can find water. Everything tries to do better. Tries to do better in there. That's the most basic level of where you're aiming. I'm aiming to do better. Nobody would argue with that. But how are you doing it? What is your basis? So it comes down to one of two things. Either you believe or understand, we'll discuss this at length, that you're not okay. That's just basically the way you were made. I'm not okay. I'm human. I have insecurities. I have fears. I have guilt. I have problems. I have past things that bother me. I have things I want that I can't have. Things that I wanted that I didn't have. I have resentments. Oh my God. I'm human. So I'm a mess. And that's very uncomfortable in here. And sometimes it's more uncomfortable than others. If I say something that's embarrassing, I feel ashamed. I feel, I want to just disappear. It's not always fun to me, and there is it. All right? So either you believe, you listen to me, that that's the truth. That's how you are. It's just the way it is. Period. It's your starting position. Now, let the goal and direction and aim of your life be to try and find things that will make it tolerable. To try to find things that will make it better. So if I have guilt and fear and insecurity and jealousy, I need to try to find a relationship that will support me enough so I don't have to feel jealous. So that I feel, well, at least somebody loves me and I have some place to come home to so I can live with myself. In other words, make it more tolerable. Make it more comfortable in there by finding, getting, whatever, collecting and avoiding, trying to collect things that make you feel better in there and avoid things that make you feel worse. That's one way you can aim your life. It means that you're constantly struggling. It means that you're constantly worrying. It means that you're constantly striving. It means you're constantly trying to get it the way you think you need it to be for you to feel better in there. Nothing wrong with it. I hope I described it well, because I just described your life. Okay? How do I know? Because I just described everybody's life. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter. Everyone's doing everything they're doing, and everybody's not doing everything they're not doing because of that. Because they're not okay inside, and they're trying to figure out what will make them do better. And then they're trying to make that happen. And they're trying to figure out what will make them feel worse, trying to make sure that doesn't happen. Fair enough? Okay. That is one way of living your life. It is very difficult. It is very difficult. First of all, it's difficult to figure out what it is that will make you do better. All right? That's why you have so much trouble making decisions. Because you're not trying to find out what car to buy. You're not trying to find out who to marry. You're not trying to find out where to live. You're not. You're not trying to find out what job to take. You're not trying to find out what clothes to put on today. You're not trying to find out what to eat for lunch. You're not. You're trying to find out what will make you feel better and what will make you feel worse. And that's every single thing you're doing. And the truth of the matter is, you know, the slightest idea, right? And so it's very difficult to make decisions. Should I take this job or that job? Should I marry this person or not? Should I get married now or hitchhike around Europe and take some time off? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Every single one of those things is about, I'm not okay in here. I'm trying to make it be okay in here. I'm a positive person. I haven't given up, all right? I'm trying to make it be okay in here. How do I know which of those things is going to do it? And so I drive myself crazy at the first step. The first step is trying to figure out what it is that you think will make you happy, and what it is you think will make you do better, and what it is you think will make you feel worse. That's just the first step, and that one's tough, isn't it? Well, what's the second step? If I figure it out, at least I think I do. Now, there's no guarantee, because I kind of just made it up. Didn't I? It's really very funny. I mean, you could have just picked something else. It was really a toss-up. You understand that? You must admit you had trouble making a decision. Now we're going to aim our entire life at something that was kind of like, 60-40, or if you're lucky. It's like, it's amazing. And so you have all this fear and insecurity about having made the wrong decision. You do it all the time. Oh, I should have done that. It drives you crazy. That's only step one. Why? Just because you think you decided, it doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? So you then put on the battle gear and sit there and say, I am going to fight. I'm going to fight. That's the right word, fight. Manipulate, control, conjure, to try and make what I want to happen, and try to keep what I don't want to happen from happening. Fair enough? And I think step one is you made up. I just think that's so adorable. Have you ever been wrong? I'll ask you, have you ever been right? Okay? And when you were right, did it last? Did it keep making you happy and well and so on? Because the answer is no. You get used to it. Like I told you once, listen to me, you're mature people. There are lots of issues in there, aren't there? There's what I call IOD, the issue of the day. Right? Really, it's an IOM, the issue of the minute. What's bothering you the most right now? I feel lonely. I feel people don't respect me. Oh, I want him to like me. Both bother you. What you don't want and what you want bother you. Do you understand that? All right? So now you have this issue. But whatever issue it is that's bothering you, that seems like the one that will solve everything. It does seem like the one, right? Doesn't it seem like if I can have this, or if this doesn't happen, it'll be the end. It'll be so wonderful. I'll be fine. That's ridiculous. There's 7,000 other things in there. And this is just the one that's at the surface right now. So if you make decisions and go after that, if you don't get it, you feel you missed your boat. Oh, no wonder I'm not happy. No wonder, oh my God, what am I going to do? It didn't work. If you do get it, and it actually works, it means that one is no longer the issue of the day. One of the other 7,000 come up. I'm glad you're laughing, because it's true, isn't it? In other words, you're never okay. You're never okay. You're chasing after one thing or the other. If you don't get it, it's a problem. And if you get it, then they're the rest of the problem. All right? Somebody once said the wisest thing to me, it was back in my God, that was like 72. I was just talking to someone, and they just looked at me and they said, a teacher of mine once said, just say to yourself, if it wasn't this, it'd be something else. If this wasn't bothering me, it'd be something else that was bothering me. How true is that? When has there not been something bothering you? Do you understand that? Okay? And it goes for the positive too. If it wasn't this I thought I wanted, it'd be something else. It's always something, isn't it? And so if you devote yourself, we're talking about aiming, if you take your aim toward the temporary thing that now is number one in the hit parade to either avoid or achieve, you lose either way. If you succeed, you lose. If you fail, you lose. I once begged you, go about your life any way you want, but do not set up lose-lose situations. If you get it, the next one will pop it up. If you don't get it, you'll resent it. That's why we have so much trouble. This is just called wisdom. What happened to people? Why don't they pay attention? So, because this is the best they can do. It's all they know. I'm not okay. Here's what I think will make me be okay. And I'm going to go out there and fight to make what I think will make me be okay happen. And what I think will make it worse not happen. And I'm going to spend my whole life that way. My whole life. If you think it goes away with age, check out your grandfolks. It's just, if it's not this thing, it's another. It used to be what house I want. Now it's I don't want to be in a nursing home. And it's just always something, isn't it? Right? So that's how that way of life, while we're on that, because I'm going to go forward with the other ways you can aim. How is it that you decide what it is that you want and you don't want? Because I said you're already doing it based on what you think will make you do well and what you think will make you not do well. That's what you say, I want something. What you're saying is, I've decided that will make me do better. Fair enough? And when you say, I don't want something, you've decided that will make you feel worse. That's what your wants are not wants, are not genetic. You didn't inherit them. Okay? They're learned experiences. How do I know? Because you could really, really want something today and then absolutely not want it tomorrow. Why? Because you had one more experience. And by the way, I was just being nice. It could be in 3 minutes. You wanted it more than anything, that somebody told you something you didn't know before, and all of a sudden you wouldn't want it. It's the most poisonous thing. Go, get away from me. Don't even talk to me. Yes or no? Come on. All right? They are learned experiences. In other words, your past experiences of what has made you feel better and what has made you feel worse are formulating the way your mind is thinking and the way your heart is feeling. And so when you look and say, I'm not doing okay, I feel insecure, I don't feel people respect me. Well, when I starred in that play in the 5th grade, and I was Peter Pan, and the whole thing, and people were clapping, I felt respected. I need to change my major from business to drama. Because I'm telling you, you're going to change it. It's like, do you understand that? I've had past experiences that in the past made this issue of the moment feel better. Therefore, I'm going to aim my life at that. And then the next one, and then the next one, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So there's nothing holy about your likes or dislikes. I think that's the most important thing to learn on this journey. There's nothing special about your likes or dislikes. Don't worry, everybody's got them. And you've always had them. And so basically you wake up and you realize this is a way to do it. I'm going to repeat, what is the way? I'm not okay inside, and I believe that's the way I'm made. It's the way I'm made. It's what's in there. I need to do something about it. And so my mind looks at the past experiences and formulates concepts and views and opinions and preferences and hopes and dreams. Can I repeat those? Concepts, mind. Views, mind. Opinions, mind. Preferences, mind. Likes, dislikes, all mind. They're not real things out there, are they? Show me a concept. Show me a view. Show me a preference. Show me a belief. There are things in the mind. The mind is being used to make up what it is you think needs to happen for this mess inside to be more tolerable, to feel better, to be happier, and to have less issues. All right. Then it makes it up. Then it tries to get it. And we all know about that. I'm not going to lecture on it. Life becomes a struggle. You wake up in the morning and you're scared to death. You're at war. Every place you go, everyone you meet, you're challenged. Will it work? I don't want to talk about it. You can talk to me about it. All right? It's a tough life, isn't it? And it doesn't change. It does not change. That's why people have midlife crises. That's a real thing, a midlife crisis. What does it mean? It means I think I'm about halfway done with my life. I've tried as hard as I can to make this thing work. I've got the family, I've got this, I've got the kids, I've got the thing, I've got the job, I've got the money, I've got this, I've got that, and I ain't no better off than I was before. I'm worried about the wife. I'm worried about the kids. I don't know how I'm going to send them to college. How much money I have is not enough money. It used to seem like it was going to be a lot of money, but now it's not a lot of money because my mode of living increased according to it. So it's like it doesn't end. It just doesn't end. And so you don't feel whole, and you start to wonder and question every decision you ever made. You ever heard that? Midlife crisis? People go through that stuff. All right. That is not a pretty picture. Is there an alternate way to do this? Yes. Oh, but it means changing your aim. Because look what your aim was. That was a really messy aim. All right. The foundational problem, the Buddhists call it the root, was that you believed that the state you find yourself in, which is filled with problems and issues, and it's not so comfortable in there a lot of the times, and it can get worse and you don't want it to, that's your natural state. It is not your natural state. I assure you, it is not your natural state. Just like if you get sick, you got major sick problems happening, you feel weak, and so on. You sit there and say, well, that's just the way I was made. No, it's not. You're sick. You can get better. You get it? All right? You can get better. The things you can do, not to adjust to your sickness. Let's just say with normal sickness, just some measles or something, right? Oh my God, I'm so ugly. I have all these spots all over my face. And I'm itchy. It's going to be like this forever. It's just the way I am. So I need to adjust my life to... No, you don't. You're sick. You need to get well. That's an alternate thing to do. That's the other way of living. Is to sit here and say, this is not my natural state. If I feel insecurities, if I feel jealous, if I feel not respected, if I feel lacking, if I feel need at all, it's just not comfortable in here, that's a sickness. That is not a natural state. Period. It is not your natural state. Well, what's my natural state? Just as the natural state of your body, doesn't mean it's always going to be that way, but the natural state of your body, the way it is meant to be, is healthy. How healthy? So healthy that you don't even think about it. You just go about your business, running, jumping, doing what you need to do, lifting boxes to warehouse. And, it's a healthy body. If you have a healthy body, you don't have to think about it, do you? It is the exact same thing with your psyche, with your mental and emotional bodies. Let's talk about it for a second. What is the natural state of my inner being? Ready? Ecstasy. The natural state of your inner being is you have this energy flow that is coming up inside of you. It is free of charge. You do not have to do a single thing. You have to pay it. You don't have to do anything. Just like your blood. What do you pay your blood to flow? What do you pay your heart to beat? What do you pay your lungs to go in and out? What do you pay your liver to secrete? All kinds of stuff goes on when it's healthy, doesn't it? There is a natural flow of Shakti, Chi, spirit. I don't care what you want to call it. You got energy in there, don't you? Sometimes you feel real enthused, don't you? That's the energy I'm talking about. Sometimes you feel overwhelming love. Oh, it's rare, but you do, don't you? That's the energy I'm talking about. Sometimes you just feel passion for doing what you're doing. You just can't wait to get there. Oh my God, that's the energy I'm talking about. That energy is always there, 24/7, every moment of your entire life. Now that would change things, wouldn't it? If that was your starting position, one of absolute well-being. See? Not sickness, well-being. There's just this sense of well-being. I want you to take the highest you've ever been in there. You've been high in there, haven't you? Got off on something, excited about something, in love with somebody. Natural high. I'm talking natural high. You can get pretty nice in there, can't it? All right, I heard the new lottos now, it's 700 million or something like that. Okay, you won it. I'm just saying, people, it can get nice in there, can't it? Take that, multiply it times 1,000, and keep it going and growing. That is your natural state of every single human being that walks the face of the earth. If you reached human birth, just like it means having a couple of eyes and a couple of arms and legs, this is part of the package. Period. Everyone. Whoa. Why didn't someone tell me that? I'm serious. I'm serious that you wake up in the morning and you can't even move. It's like there's just waves of juice pouring through your being for absolutely no reason. Just waves of joy, of love. And you lay there as long as you want and then get up and just enjoy your day. Why? Because you're enjoying your day. That's why you enjoy your day, because you're enjoying your day. Not because of anything that happened. It's called unconditional well-being. It is the natural state of your being. You understand that? All right. So that is the natural state of your being. Now, if you understand that as your foundation, instead of I'm not okay, now I need to bring things in so I can tolerate my not okayness, to understand my natural state is absolute one of total well-being, then the question doesn't become, what do I need to do outside? The question becomes, why don't I feel that? Perfectly reasonable question. I felt it sometimes. I know it's in there. It's in there, isn't it? You felt love. You felt enthusiasm. You felt joy. Yeah, but then someone wrong, didn't it? Didn't turn out the way I expected it to be. Right? When this wasn't right, that wasn't right. Everything in the line up just right. Okay, so then you don't have it. That's because you're sick. Just like if your body's not healthy, you have to watch every single thing you eat, everything you breathe, every place you go, or it's going to get bothered, isn't it? Because there's something wrong. It's not the natural state. Your natural state is unconditional. I mean unconditional. You do not need anything to be any particular way for you to have love and joy and ecstasy inside of you. So the question becomes, how do I heal myself so that this is my experience in everyday life? And do not doubt for 1 second that you're capable of doing this. You're capable of doing this. And it's a silly thing to not do it, because otherwise you're sitting here saying, all I can do is beg. Go out to the world and beg and cling and hold and try to get and keep and struggle. My life is just a struggle to try and get it the way I think I need it to be for me to be okay. The other is I'm going to work with myself to heal so that I am always okay, unconditionally, with no struggle. I didn't say you're getting there tomorrow, but that's what you aim toward. See the difference? One guy's aiming down here. Well, at least I'm not depressed. Okay, you still got hope. I still got hope that someday I'll get it. What is it? I told you. You all told that hope is a very spiritual word. Hope is not a spiritual word. What hope means is, I'm not okay now, but I hope someday I will be. I still have hope. Hope what? Hope that I'll get it the way I want. Hope that someday I'll be okay. All right? So instead of just sitting there trying to get the world to be a way that you don't even know will make you be okay. It never has. You've been doing it your whole life. You're still doing it. Something's wrong with that. Okay? You aim higher. And you realize, I can be wholer inside. I don't have to stop people from doing things so they bother me. I cannot be bothered by what they're doing. Whoa. That'd be a lot better. I don't have to worry about if I'm in a relationship with you. I don't have to worry about everything you say because it might hurt me. It might make me insecure. Or I might hurt you. Or we can be whole and fine. It doesn't matter what's said. It's deeper than that. Wouldn't that be nice? Right? To feel complete wholeness and security with it. So this is what you aim toward. You just put the angle of your life at higher, and you realize you're not going to get it tomorrow, but you're not going to get the other thing tomorrow or the next day or ever. No one has ever gotten everything the way they think they want it to be for them to be okay and kept it that way. And if they did, they'd be bored. If they actually got it that way. I hate to do it, but I have to take a little side thing. There was a Twilight Zone. Remember the Twilight Zone? None of you are old enough, all right? There was a Twilight Zone once that I saw as a kid, but I never forgot it. It hit me so hard. So I'm just going to very quickly, because it's right about what we just talked. It's about this pool player, hustler pool player type person, all right? And he died. But he always ripped people off. He was a hustler. He did everything, right? And he ended up in this place that was the most beautiful pool parlor that you could ever go to. It was the most beautiful thing in the whole world, right? Oh my God, perfect tables and everything. And a sucker is born every minute. Just these marks are walking in, if you know the terminology. These marks are walking in one after another, and he's playing, and the first thing he realizes, he can't miss a shot. Everything. He's hitting these tough shots he never used to be able to get. Bam, it's dropping right in. He's taking everybody's money. He's taking every single thing there is. And at one point he sits there and says, when nobody's in there, he says, wait a second. And he takes a ball, puts it up on the side of the table and hits it to the left and says, pool, pocket number 2 in this opposite direction. The ball goes flying around and goes into the pocket that he said. Right? And he realizes there's not a single thing he can do that won't go into the pocket where he said. And there's not a single person to play against that he can't beat them completely hands down. He runs the table every single time. All right? And this guy starts to realize something's not having a lot of fun. This is not very challenging anymore. It's not a lot of fun. And it ends with him walking up to the proprietor, who's given out the pool things. And he walks and he says, excuse me, sir, is this pool room in heaven or hell? Where did I end up? Because the one thing that brought him joy, because he could get it every single time, you hear me? He lost the one thing that he enjoyed doing. You got to wake up. That was pretty deep, wasn't it? That was quite a deep Twilight Zone. I'm telling you, if you get what you want, you will no longer want it. Because it is not going to solve the problems you have inside. And that's the reason you wanted it, because you thought it would. And therefore, the minute you get it, you're going to want something else. That's what that game works like. So you're building, Christ said, don't build your house upon sand. Don't build your life upon your garbage. You got this stuff in there's not okay. Well, let's build our life based on what's not okay. Do you understand why that's building your life on sand? That's not a very good foundation. Why did you marry him? Well, I was really feeling lonely, and I at this particular point in my life, I didn't feel anybody respect. He really respected me. It was neat that he paid a lot of attention to me, and it made me feel important. You're in big trouble, because you just built one of the most important relationships of your life upon the lowest part of your being. That is what it means by building your house on sand. I hope this makes sense to you, all right? Because if you're not careful, you're going to do it. Because it's painful, it's difficult. And so you try to do this stuff. The alternative is to say, no, I am not any longer going to look outside to compensate for the sickness that I'm experiencing inside. I am going to fix the sickness inside. Then I can enjoy and deal with. Well, let's get it over with. People say to me, well, I do have a life out here. Of course you have a life out here. When you're filled with love and you're filled with passion, you're filled with enthusiasm and excitement, right? Life is a lot of fun for you and everybody around you. You are bringing the wholeness of your being out into the world and expressing yourself. Not taking, not needing. It's a big difference, isn't it? So of course you interact with the world, but first fix yourself. Basically, you come in here and you realize, while I am not okay, I best work on myself. And then we can worry about my relationships with the rest. The most important relationship you will ever have is your relationship with yourself. Because if you don't have a good relationship with yourself, you're going to try and compensate for that with every relationship, with your job, with your work, with your car. You're driving this big, heavy-duty car. Why? Well, I'm a little insecure. You're just projecting your issues out there. What are you doing? So what does it mean to work with yourself? Because now that I didn't even ask you whether you believe it, I made a statement to you this time. You are the most beautiful thing that ever walked the face of the earth. There's nothing wrong with you. You're whole and complete within yourself. There is more love flowing inside of you than anything you will ever feel outside. All right? And it is unconditional. So why don't I feel it? Because you're sick. Why am I sick? Let us take a look at what you've been doing in there. Every single situation that ever happened in your life that bothered you, you stored it inside. Still in there, isn't it? If somebody mentions it, if something reminds you of it, right? It didn't go away. Mommy, daddy, 5th grade, 12th grade, boyfriends, girlfriends, every single thing that ever happened to you that bothered you, you kept inside of you, right or wrong. If you didn't do that, there would be no therapist, there would be no psychology, there would be no Freud, there'd be nothing, all right? You have done that. Now, what you might not know is that you did that. But I've looked at this very carefully for a long time. You did it. It does not naturally stay inside of you. But the point I'm trying to make is if you collect all these bad experiences and store them inside of you, why do you think you're going to be okay in there? It's not going to work that way. If you take every single experience that ever broke your heart, that hurt you, that caused you problems, that you didn't get what you wanted and so on, and store it inside of you, that becomes the foundation that you've stored inside. And you're going to be scared. You're going to be insecure. You're going to have all kinds of problems. That's why. I swear, it's that simple. If you did not do that, you would feel all this beautiful joy and love and wholeness inside of you. But you shoved all of this stuff on top of it. And now that the stuff is in there, it is blocking the flow of the energy. And that's the truth. I'm being very bad this time. Usually I let you figure out for yourself. I've been doing this for 45 years, right? I was unfortunate enough to where I had to figure it out, fall through it, do all this kind of stuff, all right? And now everyone I meet and everything I see, everyone's found the same thing. Every teacher's really teaching the same thing, right, in reality. So basically you look at it and you realize, I have made a mess inside myself. I have made a mess. Not your past husband. He's been gone for 7 years. He may have made a mess while he was here, but you told me you got divorced 7 years ago. So how could he be making a mess in there? He's not even there anymore. But he is, isn't he? You're still having the same arguments over and over again. And then when you meet this new guy, you sit there, oh my God, he reminds me of my last husband. I bet he does. Why? Because your last husband still lives inside of you. Doesn't he? Your ex, and so does every single thing that ever happened to you that disturbed you. You still keep it inside of you. And now things remind you of it and things bring it up. This is the most important thing you dare to face in your life. And then you sit there and say, how can I be okay if I've stored everything that ever bothered me inside of me? And the answer is you can't. Period. But maybe I can find somebody who distracts me from myself enough. He's just so exciting. I'm a librarian, but he rides a motorcycle. Right? I mean, maybe I can distract myself enough from myself to where I'm having fun. I'll bet you can, a little bit. You hear me? Until something goes wrong there, then you can have another one to store. That's generally what happens. And this is called your karma. These are your samskaras. This is what you're doing. And you just layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of, you stored the stuff and you tried to do something to compensate for it, but that didn't work out, so you stored that. Your heart got broken a whole bunch of times, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right? All right. So at some point you wake up and you realize it's very simple. There's beautiful energy inside of me. I have felt it at times, but the only time I feel it is when my mind absolutely likes everything that's happening and I feel completely safe. Because that's the only time I open. It finds a little way through all my junk. You can't tell me that when you get something exactly the way you want it and you feel really safe and it's going to stay that way, how do you feel? It's kind of nice until he says one wrong word. Then it closes right back down again, doesn't it? You can't keep it open that way. There's no way in the world you're keeping it open that way. Something's going to happen, whether it be in the relationship or at work or here or there. Then all of a sudden, we're back down again. We got problems. So the energy gets blocked because what you have blocked it with. And what you have blocked it with is the storehouse of past experiences that you stored inside of you. So now we don't have this freshness. We don't have this openness. We don't have this flow. So if that's the problem, the solution is very, very simple. Not easy to do, but very, very simple. Stop it. I told you, the yogis have a way of stopping smoking. It's better than patches. It's better than hypnotism. It's better than anything, right? You will find, if you want to stop smoking, that there will come a moment in which you have an urge to pick up a cigarette, put it in your mouth and light it. Okay? Don't. And it's phenomenal. You'll stop smoking. It's the most amazing thing in the world. You won't ever smoke again if you don't do that. It's the same thing here. At some point, grow up. You hear me? You want to find something beautiful inside? You want to live a beautiful life? You want to feel love and joy and enthusiasm all the time? And go to work. I want you to go to work every single day, so excited to get there, even if you're putting widgets on an assembly line. Every single day, the same thing. You're just excited to do it better and see how many more you can do today. I want you so excited every day you go to work that if they didn't pay you, you would still go, but don't tell them. You know, an artist wants to paint out in the forest by themselves and just, oh my God, they can't wait to get out there on their day off. I want every day of your life to be like that, no matter what you're doing. See, I care about you. And I'm telling you it can be that way. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what you've ever done. It is just that you have blocked this flow of energy that is spontaneously feeding you from inside. You can't feel it because it hits all your junk. And so it's like damming up the Colorado River, all right? No water flowing downstream, all right? You got issues. So basically, the answer becomes, stop it. Every other year you've been out there running around trying to get what will make it feel better. Fix it. Oh boy. Fix it instead. Then you won't ever have to try to make it feel better because it won't feel bad. It'll feel wonderful inside. All right, how do you fix it? You stop doing it. Every moment of every day, there are things that are bothering you. Somebody beeps at you. Somebody doesn't say hello to you. Somebody bought the same shirt as you did and wore it to the party. I don't know. You want me to list all the things that bother you? No, we aren't. There are more things that bother you than there are stars in the sky. You know that. Even the tiny little things. Somebody driving too slow in front of you. My God, it's always something, isn't it? That's irritating, that's bothering you. That's because you're all blocked up. You got all your stuff. And you think there's only one way that you could be okay, and that person's in my way. All right? And the light changed. That means I'm going to be late for where I'm trying to go. And that's why you've got this whole model of how it's going to be for you to be okay. And then the world's in your way. The world is in your way, and everything in it is in your way. Don't live like that. Instead, you sit there and say, I am going to, instead of taking things in, I'm going to let things out. I'm letting go of this stuff. You start living from inside out. And you sit there and say, I use the same example, I'm sorry, that somebody beeps at you. You start to see your stuff. I don't want that beep left inside of you. When that horn stops beeping, I want it to stop being inside of you. There was a beep, indeed there was, and the beep came in, and it caused all kinds of, I didn't do anything, why are you beeping at me? People said, yeah, that's exactly what it does, right? So it does that, right? So now he's done beeping, okay? Are you done complaining about the fact that he was beeping? Because he stopped beeping. So I understand that whoever that idiot was that beeped behind you, that wasn't nice and it wasn't necessary, I agree 100%. You're the idiot that keeps it going inside. The beeping isn't happening anymore. All right. That's a game I play with Mickey. I've played it for a long time. All right? It's a fun game. You won't be perfect at it, but it's a fun game. Right? When it's over outside, it's over inside. Whoa. Now, not everything's over outside. Sometimes there's situations that happen and they stay. They're there. You're supposed to deal with them. You got to deal with them. Right? But not most of them. I swear to God, if I had to put a number on it, you're going to kill me. 95% at least, it might even be 99, but I won't say it. I'll give myself a little cushion. 95%, at least 95% of every single thing that bothers you all day, if you let it go inside, there's nothing for you to do. The only reason you think you need to do something about it is because you kept it inside. You can't deal with it. Somebody doesn't say hello to you. They walk by. Okay, fine. There's 7 billion people on the planet Earth. One of them didn't say hello. Well, I think we can handle that. So, they're done. They walked by. It's over. You don't need to figure out whether they saw you, whether they didn't see you, whether they're giving you a cold shoulder, and what you're going to do if they do give you a cold shoulder, because they're going to get a cold shoulder like they've never seen, all right? Or maybe you should call Frankie to find out what's wrong with her, and is she really not like, has she said anything to anybody else? No, you don't have to do all that. She walks by, she doesn't say hello, it makes you feel weird. Yeah, it makes you feel weird inside. You don't know what's going on. Then it's over. She's gone. Next thing's happening. It's called be here now. It's called living in the moment. I came at it from a different angle, didn't I? All right? Didn't say I was going to be here now, was it? Right? That's the reason you can't be here now is because you're busy being there then. You shouldn't have to try to be here now. It's where you are. I remember back in the 70s, we'd all be there, I'm trying to be here now. No, leave me alone. I'm trying to be here now. Here I am picking the Kleenex out of the box. Here it comes, putting it to my nose. No. That's called trying to be here now. That's not called being here now, all right? You're not being here now, all right? The question becomes, I am here now. Why don't I experience it? Because you have built in your mind and stored in your mind the experiences that are not here now. And so you end up hanging out with your mind instead of hanging out with reality. And that is not a nice place to be, because the vast majority of what your mind holds on to are the things that bothered you. So if you hang out with your mind, you're not going to be a happy camper. So you start working with this process of saying, when it's done, people say I don't give techniques because I don't teach you. Do all your meditations, do your techniques. I don't have to teach them to you. There's plenty of people teaching. But I am teaching you the highest technique that will take you to the highest place. What's the technique? I missed it. Your technique is when it's gone outside, it's gone inside. That's not a technique. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I also gave you a technique to stop smoking. Stop putting cigarettes in your mouth. It's like they're too simple for you. You want a patch or a chemical or something, all right? I got to get hypnotized. No, you're in there. You have will in there. You have the right to live the life you want to live. You need to give yourself that right. So make it a game. Don't make it a struggle. It's not a struggle. It's a game. It's like a video game. I swear, just play. You won't be able to do it at first. That's okay. Don't come to me and say, I can't do that, Mickey. You don't understand. I'm really messed up. You're not any more messed up than anybody else. All right? We have this word that I've been using lately. I don't know how I missed it in my early teachings. Learn. You learn all kinds of things, don't you? Learn to drive a car. Learn to do calculus. Learn to do this. Learn to do that. Learn to tie your shoes. Learn to play tennis. Learn to play the piano. You learn all kinds of things, don't you? Learn this. That's all. Give yourself time. Give yourself space. I'm begging you. And what was it we're learning? That if it's not happening outside, it's not happening inside. Whoa, I got some serious learning to do. That's a real different state of being than the one I live in. I know it is. And that's why you're not okay. Because you keep eating the junk that made you sick before. Do you hear me? If it is not happening outside, it is not happening inside. It's called letting go. That's what I call it, isn't it? Letting go. She didn't say hello. It caused a problem. I'm not saying it didn't cause a problem inside. Absolutely. Things are going to come in. They're going to hit your stuff. Don't wait until it doesn't cause a problem. Now I can do it. No. It comes in. It hits your stuff. It causes a problem. Then it's gone outside. I want you letting go. I don't know how to do that. Learn. It's a very important thing to learn. How do you learn? You in there. Stay present. And remember that you're trying to let go of the stuff the mind's doing that caused it problems before. And you just basically do anything you can. I don't know. Look at the mind. Say, it's okay, sweetheart. It's okay. Talk nicely to it if you want to. What I do, that I learn, is I'm in here. It's down there talking, yakking, complaining, heart hurting, whatever's going on, right? And I just relax. I just relax and lean away from it and give it the space it needs to pass through. Instead of trying to fix it, trying to make it go away, trying to make yourself feel better. You understand that? To me, it's like the ripples at a very still lake, and then a leaf falls in. It causes ripples, right? But I like the lake still. But it caused ripples. It's just reality. It fell in. That's how physics works. It caused ripples. There's nothing that I can do to stop those ripples that's higher than doing nothing. Is there? They will naturally pass. If I jump in to try to smooth them out, I think I got some issues. If I jump in to try to catch the next leaf so that it doesn't fall, I got some issues. If I take an iron and try to iron them out, I ain't gonna work. There's not a single thing you're going to do about the fact that that person beeped at you that is going to make it fixed more than letting go. He beeped. It hurt. People shouldn't be like that. I heard all that. Now he's gone. And I am not going to tell people about this. I'm not going to tell what idiots everybody is. I'm not going to let it formulate my opinion of humankind. I'm not going to do a thing with it. I'm just going to let it pass through me and deal with the next moment. And you start practicing, relaxing and releasing, relaxing and releasing. All right? If you will do this as much as you can, and it's going to take some time before you're good at it. That's okay. It took some time to play the piano too. And what'd you win? Nothing. Right? Now you let go of this, you want everything. You learn to do this. Food tastes better. Relationships are better. Life is fun. Because you didn't store more stuff inside of you. All right? And what's going to happen if you do this, and you have to make it your life. It's what you're aiming toward. I'm aiming toward the highest thing there is, liberation. That's what this is called. Jivan Mukta. That's the Sanskrit name for it. A liberated soul. Jivan Mukta. It's a very great thing. You're free of yourself. You're free to live your life. You're free to love. You're free to be. Wouldn't you like that? All right? This is how you do it. So you let go of those things, and then what is going to happen, I'm warning you, is because you're not shoving more stuff down, very naturally old stuff will start coming up. All by itself. You'll come to me and say, this is not working. I was doing well. I was doing kind of well. Now I'm really messed up. Good. It means the stuff that you have stored in there is coming up. Can you handle that? No. Learn. You want it out. You want it out. It'll come out in your dreams. You mind your own business. All of a sudden, it'll magnify what's happening to 1,000-fold because it'll remind you what your daddy did. You understand that? All of a sudden, you'll be this whole reaction go on inside of you because somebody went boop. Yes or no? All right, let it go. Let it go. Just keep letting go. You do not want that stuff inside of you, do you? And as you let it go, you're going to start to realize that there's this energy underneath it that you've been missing. And the only time you could even begin to feel that energy is when everything was exactly the way the mind wanted it and the heart wanted it. So that the mind opened and the heart opened. And then you got to feel the energy. Now what you're doing is letting the energy push out of its way. Just like a river would throw the rocks out of the way. You understand that? It's pushing your stuff out of the way. And you're going to start to feel that energy. That's the next stage of your path. And you start to feel this flow, and for no reason. You just wake up in the morning and you're filled with love and joy, and all of a sudden everything's much more fun, and you're lighter. It's a lighter experience, and then all of a sudden the sun sets and it just blows you away, at a level that's not even comprehensible. It's like, it's better than any love affair you ever had because the sun is setting? Oh, are you kidding? No, I'm not kidding. That is inside of you. Every experience you ever had that was beautiful, including intimate, close love relationships, are inside of you. Are they not? Isn't that beautiful feeling of freedom and openness inside of you? That's there all the time. It is just you need these things, very dramatic, drastic things, to open you up enough so that you can feel who you are, this natural state. Well, you'll start feeling it all the time. You'll start feeling it. It's just unbelievable. And you'll start to like it. And then what will happen? The moment you start feeling that Shakti, you start feeling that energy, now all of a sudden you have another reason for letting go. You were letting go before because I don't want all this junk inside of me. Now you're letting go because you see that it lets this beauty come up inside of you. Now it's a positive thing, not just a non-negative. And you'll start to make some really serious decisions. Like what? You're getting somewhere when you sit there and say to her, she's inside of you. She's just dancing beautiful love and energy. You say, okay, you win. You're free. You move inside. I will go through anything. I don't care what it is. I don't care how much it hurts. I don't care what it is. You just push out of your way whatever it is that keeps you from getting higher and higher and higher and higher. Period. I don't need anything. I don't need anyone. I don't need anything. You'll see that the situations in your life will come to you and they will support that. Things will come, they will unfold, and you will either help let go of stuff or they will feed the energy. You become a person who has devoted your life. I can call it to Shakti, but if I wanted to sound very Christian, I'd say to spirit. Because that's what they're talking about. You have this beautiful energy that's flowing inside of you. And eventually, how high can it get? It can get so high that your stuff, Ramdas said he talked about that your stuff that used to be prominent in front of you is like crickets in the background now. It's there. It can't affect anything. It doesn't do anything. It's just a little noise in the background. And instead, there's this rush of love and joy and well-being that is always flowing inside of you. And then you get further and further away and further and further away, and all of a sudden you can handle everything that's happening. Your boss comes and criticizes you and yells at you, and you listen to it, and you pick out of it that constructive criticism that needed to be told, and you don't get offended by the fact that the guy doesn't have that very good bedside manner, okay? But big deal, all right? And you just keep growing, and it's unbelievable. You will succeed at every single thing you do. You'll be the most unbelievable at everything you do. You'll be better than at one point I said, they shouldn't let you play with the other boys and girls because you're that much better. You're clear, you're conscious, you're strong, you're centered. You're not making decisions based upon the fact that you're not okay. You're making decisions based on the fact that you're looking at what's going on and trying to help. That's a big difference, isn't it? So basically, this is the alternative way of living. That's very, very different than I'm not okay and I'm trying to pull things into me and push things away that make me temporarily feel okay or not. You'll never get anywhere that way. This is called change the angle of your aim, me, straight up. If I got but one life to live, there ain't no question how it's getting lived. And there will be no compromise at any time for anything or anyone. The highest thing you can do is get as high as you can. That is the best you can serve your family, the best you can serve your communities, the best you can serve everything. Bring down onto earth the clearest, highest being that can be. There. That's your aim. And that's your gift. You hear me? As opposed to what do I need, what do I want, right? You just make something beautiful of yourself. Because you are beautiful. And you bring that out, and that light shines for everybody and everything. It's an amazingly different life. You're not taking. You're not begging. You found it inside yourself, and you're giving it. It's just a constant act of giving, of constant giving. So there is an alternative way to live. There is an aim. That's really fun, isn't it? Pretty inspiring to talk about that, isn't it? Make something great of yourself. Work on yourself. Aim. Every day you should think about, where do I aim my life? How am I doing? Where do I aim in this? Jai Kritika.